mean, I've always been, I don't care if it's my fucking idea. I just want to win. Please tell me if this is stupid. I don't want to waste time. I don't want to waste my energy. I don't want to waste my money. We're going to debate about it. So you better be ready to defend your ideas. And if your defense is better than mine, then I'm not going to do something stupid. If I'm doing something and it's stupid, please tell me and tell me why.
We're here at the Gregory Vetter Podcast. I'm Maurice Taylor.
I'm Gregory Vetter.
And we're going to chat.
We're going to chat. We're going to see what pops up here today.
Anything that you would like to reflect on, that you can reflect on lightly, pertaining to maybe some things that you've been dealing with business.
Really just that if it's going to work out, it will. And that you have to have an unbelievable amount of faith in the unknown. And then you also have to be really comfortable with God or the universe choosing something for you that you may not choose yourself. And I've been trying to have more and more faith, still taking action, taking unbelievable amounts of action.
Yeah, because it's...
Faith without deeds is dead.
Yes.
But at the same time, seeing where my faith and action turns into something. And a great example is our energy drink, right? That had been completely developed, sitting on the wayside. We were focused on other stuff. And out of the blue, a group says, we're really interested in the energy drink. We want to partner with you on the energy drink. Are you interested in that? And so out of nowhere, we go, sure, let's revitalize this thing that had been put on pause.
Right.
And that example, I think, is interesting because when you're mapping out your plan of how you're going to accomplish your goals and what you want to get done and not get done, you have this like very robust tactical plan that you're going after. But if you're not open to the signs of where you potentially need to redirect your energy, you may miss something, right? Goes back to the Alchemist where the old king tells him to walk through the square with a piece of oil or a little drop of oil on the spoon, and
was it an egg on the spoon or was it oil?
Oil.
Okay.
And it said, don't spill any. And he comes back and he said, great job. You didn't spill any oil, but did you notice boom, 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 boom?
Yeah.
He's like, no, I didn't notice anything. He goes, okay, walk back through, don't spill any, and notice everything. And I think part of my problem is I just get hyper focused on not spilling any oil.
You do get hyper focused. So you believe that's a good thing, bad thing?
I think everything is a good and bad thing.
Yeah.
I think if you can figure out a way to really be aware of your weaknesses and your strengths and your tendencies and your habits, you're in control of the world, right? It's one of those things. Napoleon Hill said, a man who's in control of his stomach is in control of his life, when he was talking about fasting, which is true, right? Hunger urges are real. And if you can master that, then you probably can master any urge, which then means you can probably stay focused or disciplined across any environment, which means you can accomplish whatever you want. So I've just been thinking a lot about this concept of faith in the journey and being okay with where it takes you while trying to maintain the right level of action to put myself in a position where I can see and recognize the signs along the way. And it's an equation that can't really be explained because you want to say, well, how much action is enough? How much is too much? How much is too
Right.
little? I don't know. But what I
It's
do know is sitting on your ass isn't getting anything done.
Yeah, so it's a little less of, sometimes I like to say for myself is I go with the flow.
You say that a lot.
Yeah, I go with the flow. And I guess sometimes I can deviate from going with the flow when I'm not comfortable with where the flow going. I'm like, okay. But normally my flow just be flowing. You know what I'm saying?
You got the flow that flows.
I just be going and I don't know. I think I'm like that Bruce Lee saying, be water, my son.
Water.
So
Be water.
I can navigate and I just move and, and normally things that may seem or may potentially become bad for me kind of fall off by themselves. Or I kind of deviate from them naturally and I'm not over on that side no more and I'm somewhere else. I noticed that
you're
about
a better man than most.
Yeah, I noticed that about me. It's some things, like, but we all have friends who we still contact with, but we kind of grew out of contact with. But it wasn't like no bad blood. It was just like, okay, I'm doing something else right now.
Yep.
So I seen when I look back, because I was just, man, we just doing our thing. We hanging out, boom, boom. Still love them, but I'm just not over there right now. And I think where I started to level up is when my boy went off to go drive truck, and he left me at home. So that
blue.
Yeah, so that was like he went off. That was like his college. Because I had already came back from college. So I went to college and he was just working. And then when I came back and we had probably about 1.5 years, 2 years, and then he went off to go drive truck. And then I was just like, that's like really the person I hung out with every day. So I'm just like, I just started grinding. I just started just drawing all day and just hanging out on my computer and working and doing my little side gigs. And then I stumble across you guys, needed some artwork on the wall. And then boom, I just started doing that. And I just worked my way up. So that reminds me, going with the flow of that video that you sent. And you sent me from Instagram about the guy who was talking. He said, one guy asked him a question, can you give me all the answers or something along those lines? And he told him about your journey will guide you, and it'll give you decisions. Either you can go left or you can go right, and you'll make that decision. You either go left or go right, and once you go to left, then it's going to be another decision you make. And he talked about not having expectations to where it's going to leave you. It's like, or lead you. So if you just go and you make those turns and you be like, oh, that's nice, that's cool. And not say, okay, I'm gonna make this right. And it better be $1 million waiting for me once I get there. And when you get there to the end, it's not $1 million, then you upset. And we talked about that as well on one of the episodes, but I don't think, maybe I come to terms of, I don't expect too much. I just don't expect too much.
Nick Saban has an awesome quote, and I watched it yesterday, reread it again, and he said, outcomes are a distraction. You should just focus on the process. Outcomes are a distraction. You should just focus on the process. And I think that is interesting because so much of what we do is just outcome focused. Did we win? Did we accomplish our goal? Are we closer to our goal? And in reality, I honestly think it's a little bit of both, because I need to know where I'm going and then I can focus on the process. So I know what process I'm working on to accomplish the goal I want to accomplish. But I agree with this entirely different dedication or focus on the process, going with the flow, but within a process and structure. Because I think so often, and this is what I preach and I focus the most on, it's the human optimization component of oneself. I'm not going to give you business strategies. I have them. I'm not going to give you advice. If you ask me, I'll try and help you. All of that exists. I'm not going to fucking create a new way to market vodka or toilets or salad dressing or lettuce, but I'm going to explain to you what's required from you to wake up every day and go through the process of making yourself your most optimal so that you can execute whatever plan you think is correct. And that is where I think people fail. They fail from a lack of discipline within the process so that they can actually go with the flow. Because you act, oh yeah, I just go with the flow, man. I'm just flowing. My flow flows. You fucking grind on the flow. So for all the listeners out there that are like, wow, man, Mo just goes with the flow. Yeah, he goes with the flow while, let's say he's in a fucking rowboat rowing 80 miles an hour or whatever the fuck and executing at the highest level imaginable, maybe without some kind of grand goal or outcome that he's working towards or that you're working towards, but you're going with the flow while executing the process at a very, very, very high level.
And that also stands on because I love what I do.
Yeah.
Some things of stuff I do, I don't love, but overall, as a whole, I love it. I mean, I would do this. Everybody always say find something that you would do for free, and I would do this for free.
You were doing it for free.
I wasn't doing it for free. I just wasn't doing it to.
I'll do it for $5.
I undercut myself sometimes, but sometimes me looking at how much something costs, I'm like, God dang, that's a lot. I could do that myself, and that's how I learned how to do it. And then but I got to understand that maybe what I do save people time and they're willing to pay for that time or they don't know how to do it at the level and I can get it done quickly.
Well, it's not only that, it's also elite. The final product is elite. So again, you're doing the listeners a disservice. Like you're a fucking, discount GPT graphic designer or some shit that you're saving them an hour of fucking around with like clip art or some shit. But in reality, you're executing at a very high level. But it does come back to this. Yes, I don't know if you're focused on the outcome of the day, week, or month. You have grand goals in your life. I think you're going with the flow towards those goals with the sense that you're not trying to get it done by 41 or 43. And if it doesn't happen, you're a failure. From my observation, I see you kind of executing at a high level and constantly trying to get better. And then also reevaluating where you are. Is this further along than I was? Am I closer to my ultimate goal? Do I even want those goals anymore? Which I think the interesting thing with me is like, I don't want a lot of the same goals I wanted 5 years ago, or I've already gotten them and they were nothing.
Right. You said that a lot. Like I got there and then I was like, huh, all right.
Nothing.
Because it only lasts for what?
A millisecond. You're like, I've done it. it.
And you get your congratulations.
And you look around and everyone's like, thumbs up, brother. And you're like, yeah. Well, I got to go coach my kids' sport. So that was cool.
And you remember, hey, that's a good thing.
Yeah, it is. But like, there's no.
That's the best thing going coach. I'm going to a cheerleading event this evening.
It's
after
the highlight
podcast.
of my life. But when you're 23, you think when you accomplish these goals, there's going to be like a Super Bowl ceremony.
Right.
You're going to get a trophy.
That's what we need to talk to the people who after they won the Super Bowl. Like, how long did that high last?
They've done all the statistical breakdowns.
I need to look that up.
It's really interesting.
You know, I'd be out here thinking I'd be coming up with new ideas. I called my brother yesterday. I said, and this is off topic. I said, you know what we should make? He said, what? We should make like a dump truck with a heated bed so we can take the snow and dump it in there, and then it would melt the snow down, and we can make it run down the drain so we can get rid of all this snow so we can open up these streets. And my brother said, yeah, that's cool. That's cool. And then we talked for a little while, and then I went to go work out with my boy, and I told him the idea. He said, man, they already got that invented, man. That's got those in Canada. I'm like, God damn. I said, man, I thought I was ready to get rich. He said, yeah, you're going to be rich, but not on this idea. And I was just laughing. So, yeah, that was a deviation from off the conversation. But
that's funny. I do that all the time. I'm like, I got the best idea ever.
And then you find out it's
and I
already
look it
done.
up. I'm like, and then I go, can I make it better? And is the brand good? Could I create a better brand?
We should buy one. I don't think they have one down here in Maryland anyway. But it only snows like every 7 years like this.
This is a shit show.
This is a lot of snow. This is on ice.
Dude, it's ice. This is not snow.
Not no more.
It was snow, and then it iced over. The last time it was like this, I think it was like 96.
Yeah,
and
that was nice snow.
No, I'm talking about the ice. Maybe
and we could walk on top of it a little bit. I remember that.
I was ice skating down Epping Forest Road with hockey skates on.
Oh, yeah. But 96 was a great year for snow. We was out of school for like 2 weeks.
Dude, that was like, we had like 3 or 4 years in a row where it was, I thought that's how I thought winters happened here.
My uncle said back in the 70s, that's how it was. Like every year they would get like 4 feet of snow.
Yeah.
I said, that was fun. He said, yeah.
And then we were basically North Carolina for a decade where it didn't do shit.
How about that one video that I sent you over last night about the iguanas?
That was funny as shit, dude.
I immediately thought of
huge.
I immediately thought about your dad. Yo, they was bringing them Johnson in like handfuls.
Yeah.
Going back off of going with the flow, making decisions, trusting the journey. You ever think about things that you were doing, like when you were in the beginning of building your business? You ever think back, like when you were in it, you was like, God dang it, Pop. You might didn't like some parts or you might didn't enjoy it. But do you ever reflect back on it like, God damn, I missed that time, man. That was a good time. Some of it, maybe not all of it. Do you remember?
I think when I look back on something that I miss, it would be the electric energy of the manufacturing plant, aka the tree fort, when we were building the next great American brand. Like playing ping pong with the warehouse guys, lunchtime was lit, Test Kitchen was popping out new products.
Test Kitchen was jumping all the time. That was the spot.
Dude. And just the electricity of everybody so committed to building the next great thing. And that was awesome.
We had a good vibe in there.
We had a great vibe in there. Everybody was kind of fulfilling whatever needs that they had. All the warehouse guys were fucking seen and were paying for happy hours, and we're having dinners and lunches, and they're telling us stories, and we're coming up with new products. And, you know, that was a couple years there where we were just lighting the world on fire.
Yeah, we was rolling.
And that was awesome. And you look back on that, and I was given a speech when somebody asked me, what do I miss, or what will I never experience again? Probably. And it was that. Like, I don't know if I'll be in another environment like that ever again. And that was awesome, dude. And it wasn't the time to sell, but like, you look back on that moment, and it, like, if there was any time to leave, like, if someone was like, dude, it's only going to get worse from here. Like,
Right.
investors are going to try and take this bitch over 10 times. Like, COVID's coming. The supply chain crisis is coming. You got 2 more hostile takeover attempts that are coming. You got 6 more investor lawsuits coming. Like, if someone had been like, yo, dog, sell this bitch now, and like,
Right.
on a high note, that would have been helpful. But
we was hanging. We was having
we're having a great time.
it was a good vibe.
And we were making it happen against all odds. And I think that part was really great. And that was really interesting. And it helps me counsel people today. Like, I was talking to one guy, and he's about to sell his business. And, but 6 months ago, he was like, yeah, I'm going to grow it for another like 3 or 4 years and get it to this number and then exit then. And I'm like, well, how's life right now? He's like, it's pretty good. It's starting to get real crazy, and I'm dealing with all this bullshit that I don't like. And I was like, all right, man, just as a heads up, it's most likely, and I can't predict the future, but it's most likely only going to get worse. If investor pressure is beginning now, it's going to multiply by 10. If you're having employee problems now, they're only going to get worse, right? Because I look back on all the people we hired, and I mean, we kept hiring allegedly smarter and smarter people with better and better pedigrees.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing got easier.
Right.
It was only more bullshit. They didn't solve any of our fucking problems.
What if you compared that entrepreneurial journey to, let's say, something I enjoy doing? I'm not the best at it, but I like doing it. Running. You know how when you start to run,
You and Forrest Gump.
you get that first mile, or those first couple miles in, you feeling good. And well, maybe not even the first mile. It'd be like,
I was going to say, it's like mile 3.
Yeah, you
first
start,
2 suck.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then, but once you get past that mile 3, if you're in like mile 4, mile 5, you be like, man, why the fuck I do this? Like, I'm ready to be done. Like, God dang it. But then once you get that halfway and you start coming back, you be like, okay, cool. And you get down to maybe that last mile and a half, you just, you get a little bit more peppy. And then, so I'm thinking, like, is that kind of how entrepreneurial journey feels? And what if you were just at that mile 5 where it's like, man, fuck it, I don't want to do it. Like, I'm ready to quit. I want to leave. But what if you ran through that? Do you think that?
So my running journey, we'll use 10 miles as the example. I have a different cadence than you.
Okay.
My first 2, I'm stiff as fuck.
Yeah. You got to run slow.
Yeah, we'll use 10 miles. Mile 3, I'm feeling good.
Mm-hmm.
4, 5, 6, let's go. I'm in a rhythm. Breath is in a rhythm. Blood's flowing. 7, all right, I'm starting to, I'm getting bored. 8, what the fuck am I doing out here still? 9, 10, I'm like, get me home. My fucking body's breaking down. Fuck all this shit. That's how I think it is. So if you can get out at like mile 7,
right,
when you're like feeling good, but shit hurts a little bit,
and you just magically appear at home like, okay, that was good.
Yeah.
But if you get home at mile 9, mile 10, you're like, man, what?
Right. I'm going to throw these running shoes in the fucking trunk.
So So comparing that to like your journey or any journey, is that kind of how it is? You think if you can just go through, because sometimes it's like you got to push through. Like, so when do you know when, okay, like that's enough, you're not giving up, but you know, all right, that's the end. We done.
I don't know, because on our journey, we prematurely ended it, right? We restructured the business. The board voted to do that. It ended up being a kind of total shit show, ended like a dumpster fire. And now in the past year, all of the brands that started around the same time as us and were the same sizes of us have all sold for $1 billion. So should we have pushed through? Probably. But I'll never know, because we were in 3 different lawsuits from 3 different groups that wanted to eat our souls. Like, would we have made it to this point? Because that was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
5 years ago.
So in retrospect, you got out the best.
No.
The best time.
No.
I mean, but if you kept on going, then you probably could have got 0, right?
Who knows? I did get 0.
So you got a negative 0.
I got negative millions of dollars. So I don't know what part of a running analogy that is. It would be like doing a warm-up run and blowing your fucking leg out.
Yeah, there you got knee surgery on both knees.
Right, I'm in a fucking double leg cast in a wheelchair. That's where I'm at.
With a neck brace.
Right. Like the movie Office Space when he's in a full body cast and he's like, you jump to conclusions. He came up with that board game. He's like, and really, if you stay focused and work hard in your life, maybe you can turn out like me. It's like,
so now you're doing, after going through that journey, now you're doing sessions.
Yeah.
You're doing one-on-ones. Can you talk about why you want to do those sessions? And can you talk about that one particular session that you came up with that I think is very different and creative?
Well, leadership, leave things better than when you found them, lead by example. So I wanted to give back, and I have a bunch of very interesting life experiences that I think are very helpful for any business or any entrepreneur or any CEO. So that's been fun. And then I watched a video on this restaurant where they have no prices and they let homeless people in, and you pay for what you think the meal is worth.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was really interesting, because I do that all the time, but I do that in tipping, for example. So if I have an unbelievable waitress, I'll tip her a shitload or him a shitload of money, because I'm like, what an amazing experience this person created for me. And so then I just thought about, if you don't have money, you can still go have this fabulous meal. Well, that's not true with me for the most part. Like, you can't call me for free and get my insight. And I thought, well, what if I did do that? Because the most interesting questions that I answer are at my speaking events and stuff. And it's young, entrepreneurial people in the infancy stage of their business. And they're so curious, like they can't afford my hourly rate. So I was like, well, what if people just pay me for what they think it's worth?
Right.
Is it worth anything? I don't know. And so I'm going to do that for a while. I'm going to allocate a portion of my week to a couple hours in a week, and anybody can sign up. And if you think it's worth a lot, you can pay me a lot. And if you think it's worth nothing, you can pay me nothing.
Okay. So with that being said, have you ever came across someone, or maybe people who you're mentoring or giving was a consultation to now? Um, have they ever came back to you and said, this is your idea. That was a really smart idea. That worked for me, or that got me to where I needed to be.
Yeah, all the time. Because I'm not looking to be like a psychologist where I charge you an hourly rate and never solve your problems. And for the next 15 years, you pay me once a week a certain amount and no problems are solved. If you have a problem, I'm going to give you a fucking answer.
Right.
And it's interesting because some people don't want to hear the answer, or they don't like the answer, or they get offended with the answer, or they have a completely different perspective of the world, or what's possible or what's required. So when you give people insight or advice of like, hey man, here's your goal. If you want to do this, this is what this takes. You know, you'll get some people that go, that makes perfect sense. And then you'll get other people that are like, go fuck yourself. It's like, okay, good luck. And I had one guy, he was going to raise a bunch of money, build this manufacturing plant, do all this crazy shit. And I'm like, hey man, that's fucking dumb. That is not smart. This is going to be the greatest waste of your money in the history of the world. It's going to be a total distraction. Do not do this. And he's like, respectfully, you don't know what you're talking about. Okay. Have a great day. And a year and a half later, I got an email from him. And he goes, just want to let you know you were right, man. I fucked up. This is the biggest nightmare, worst decision I've ever made. And it didn't make me feel good that he was going through that. So I replied like, hey, I'm sure I know why, but let me know if there's anything I can do to help. And I didn't hear back from him. But when you build manufacturing plants from nothing, when you invent a way to make food that hasn't been made before, when you sell in a product that isn't a thing yet, right? Clean eating and organic was just in the very beginning stages in 2009. You figure out how to kind of kick doors down and how to make things work and where you should be spending your time and where you shouldn't. But if you haven't done that, it's hard to accept advice from somebody without any real understanding of where they're coming from.
Right.
You know, it's like, it's too far of a leap because it's like, it's their idea. No, this is the right idea. I'm going to start a manufacturing plant. I have to do this.
Because it's their idea.
Yeah.
And they don't want canceled outside. Well, I came up with this idea, so I need to see it through.
Yeah.
Because maybe if I don't see it through, then maybe I'm a quitter, or, you know.
Or maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm not as smart as I thought I was. I mean, I've always been a meritocracy guy where it's, I don't care if it's my fucking idea. I just want to win. Please tell me if this is stupid. I don't want to waste time. I don't want to waste my energy. I don't want to waste my money. If I'm doing something and it's stupid, please tell me and tell me why. Because I'm not just going to take your word at its face. We're going to debate about it.
Right.
So you better be ready to defend your ideas. And if your defense is better than mine, then I'm not going to do something stupid. But, you know, that's the ego. It's the human ego.
Ah, yeah. It was a great book on the ego. Can't remember what it's called, but it was good.
Ego is the enemy?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
It was definitely that one. How do you evolve from an entrepreneur to becoming someone who can give consultation? So, like, did it shock you when somebody came to you and said, hey man, can you help me with this? Or hey man, can you? And did you think that by helping them, they might get a head up on you? Like if you gave them secrets, did you ever have that come across like, man, I'm not going to help you because then you might become better than me?
Well, it depends. So I'm an oldest brother, so I've always kind of plowed through first and then reported back on what worked and didn't work. Hey guys, just as a heads up, don't do this or you're going to get your ass beat. So I'd always done that for my brothers. I've also always been a captain of teams. So you're always trying to like, hey, freshman, this is how it's done. Avoid this, do this, whatever. Like, I wish you the best. I think sports really helped with that because in athletics, the team needs to win. You want to thrive, but you're not going to thrive if your team sucks. So you almost have to find a way to thrive independent of everybody else also thriving. And if you don't thrive, that's kind of okay if the team's winning. So it's a weird balance of, I got to make sure everybody's working hard, just as hard as me. I got to figure out how to find my own path on this team. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. And then that directly translated into providing counsel for other entrepreneurs and CEOs. And obviously this was after I was kind of done with other things.
Right.
So I didn't really care, if you're building the next great AI company, that's great, dude. I wish you nothing but the best.
Right. Because that's not really something you're totally interested in. You think it's cool, but I'm not out here trying to.
But even if, even if somebody called and said, hey, dude, I want to launch a ready to drink vodka business. Okay, this is what we did. I want to launch an energy drink business. Okay, this is what we did. I want to launch a Porta-John business. Okay, this is what we did. Instead of launching one, just buy mine. I'll sell it to you. I'll sell you anything you want.
So was that ever something you struggled with? No, not really.
Yeah, I mean,
when you were young,
I'm very competitive.
Yeah.
So you're always trying to figure out what's my little secret that I'm not going to tell anybody else. But at the same time, you need your team to be good. So 90% of what you're doing is going to be visible. They're going to see you in the weight room. They're going to see most of what you're eating. They're going to see you at practice. They know how hard you work. They know if you're a piece of shit off the field.
But then that also boils all the way back down to the discipline. They can see it.
But are they going to do it?
But are you going to do it?
Most aren't. Most are not. And going all the way back to one of the first things we said, it was like, if you can master your hunger, you can master anything. People always ask, well, Greg, what's your superpower? What's this? What's that? I don't really have one. I'm disciplined. I'm focused.
I always say that's your superpower.
Discipline?
Is your discipline.
I would probably say that's one of them. Because the discipline translates into mental discipline.
And then I guess just your fast action.
I'm high activation.
Yeah. It's just like, okay. Let's do it. When you want to do it, Greg, let's do it now.
Right. Like I love with one of the book covers, you like sent it over and then that was the last thing I was waiting on and I uploaded it and ordered a copy. It took, it was here 3 or 4 days later.
It was here when I got here.
And you're like, what the fuck?
I said, man, I just did that. So I told my dad, I said, man, Dad, if you want to do this book, you need to holler at Greg. Greg be getting books in like 2 weeks.
I've been banging them out.
Yeah, so because my father, man, he been working on his poetry coffee table book for like probably the last maybe like 2 years, but he's been making his own imagery to go with it, with all the poems that he wrote. So he's basically been doing himself. But I think this year he may he may be ready to put that thing and get it printed.
I talked to my dad about that because I dedicated the Fix Shit book to him. And he was like, I mean, how are you doing this? And I was like, I showed him, you have your manuscript. I wake up every morning at 4. I write every day. I not using traditional editors like I was the first time. Like, hey, give me this. I'll give it back to you in 3 weeks. Hey, I'm going to give it to another grammatical editor and I'll give it back to you in a month. Hey, this lawyer. I mean, I spent 1 full year.
Right. Just
fucking going back and forth and waiting for people. I don't have to do that anymore. Right. So I had the same conversation with my dad last night. He has a bunch of short stories. I'm like, you give me the Word doc. I'm going to load that shit into Amazon.
We're going to make a color. We're going to make a cover.
I go, the longest thing that's going to take if you already have the manuscript is the cover.
Right.
That is, that's going to take a couple days, if not a week.
Yeah.
I'm like, but in the grand scheme of things, you load it up. Amazon prints those suckers kind of as they're bought. They're shipped 2 days later. I mean, it's a really efficient process. It's shocking, actually.
Maybe I might get an author credit underneath my name.
Let's go.
I don't even know what I write a book.
Dude, let's do all the kids' books.
Yeah. I do have a book. I think I'm gonna do it for my daughter. Like the Inktober before last, I did a whole, each drawing was a page, and I said I was making a book.
Let's do it.
I think I'm gonna take all those drawings and color them, and then just rewrite all the words for them.
Let's get it.
Just make it up as I go along.
Let's go.
Yeah, but
you're not gonna do the big booty day of Inktober?
Now that's for my adult channel.
My adult channel.
Yeah, that's not for the babies. that's for the adults.
I do think I'm coming around to this concept of legacy.
Oh,
I don't like that word at all, as you know.
Yeah, we did a whole short video on that.
Yeah, I don't
People ask me what I want my legacy to be.
Yeah. I don't like that word because to me it means you're creating something to be remembered by outside of
just creating
outside of living.
Yeah, just living.
Right? Like what
like
you're
you got an expectation.
Yeah, it reminds me almost of like LeBron James calling himself the king or that he's the GOAT. You don't get to do that. Other people say that. It's like you can't call yourself a poet. Other people can call you a poet.
I'm going to save my reflections for the end because I just heard somebody else say that.
And so when I hear like, this is what I want my legacy to be, that's like someone saying, I'm the GOAT. I want to be the GOAT. And I guess that's okay. But I also believe there's purity in just performing something the best of your ability. It almost goes back to the Nick Saban quote we just said, which is outcomes are a distraction. You should just focus on the process.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to do with my life. I don't want to think about, well, when I die, this is how I want to be remembered. The only people I care about that remember me are my kids and my wife and my brothers.
Yeah.
Right? Like and you.
Thank you.
Yeah. I don't care if people are like, oh, wow, Greg Vetter, what a fucking legend. That means nothing to me. But I think it's interesting when you write a book. And so I'm going to bring it full circle of why I brought that up. Because someone brought this up to me. They said, your grandkids are going to be able to read this shit. And I was like, whoa.
Your great
I was like,
grandkid.
Holy shit, that's crazy. I never thought about the fact, and when I think about my great grandparents, I have a couple images of them. I have a couple memories of them, specific events. I kind of remember their voice. I kind of don't. Like, I think that I do. But in reality, if I were to hear that, I don't know if I'd realize it was my great-grandmother. My great-grandkids are going to be able to listen to my fucking audiobooks and hear my voice reading it. That's wild shit.
Yeah, and that kind of sort of just came up in the last, let's say,
10 years or something? Well, I guess they've...
Well, no. I'm talking about, we had like...
CDs on tapes and shit.
Yeah, but we also had... I'm just talking about photographs, but starting the video, and you know what I'm saying? Like having...
Yeah, the iPhone.
Yeah.
When the iPhone put a video
Even going back to Super 8.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even though you didn't have a lot of sound on Super 8, just like...
Well, I mean, there's not a lot of video of me as a kid. Like, I'm sure we could find some.
Yeah. I got a lot of video. My grandmother stayed with the video camera.
I mean, with the cloud, my kids are going to have more fucking 4K film.
Oh, man.
It's crazy, dude.
I just had an idea for the movie. Now they just might just recreate you.
Well, some dude just sold his business. He's a black YouTuber.
Oh yeah. His name's he like for like it's like 500 million.
I think it was like,
and it's only for like for 3 years.
It's like $700 million, and he sold his AI voice and visual rights. So they bought him, and they can recreate his voice and his face forever, and he doesn't own it anymore.
I don't know if I would sell that for 700 million.
Yeah, right, bitch. For 700 million bucks.
You just make videos of me.
You'd be like, peace. Mo, I saw you in that new Old Spice commercial. You're like, yup.
Yeah, baby, that's me.
You wouldn't give a fuck for 700 million bucks.
I don't know, man.
This is the Greg Vetter Podcast. Go Mo in the house, talking about an all-you-can-eat buffet of topics today. Thank you. See you again.
Peace.